Am I the asshole for coming out at my sister's wedding? I, 29 am gay and up until last week I haven't told my family yet. I think my family always suspected, but they never asked because being gay isn't really approved of in our family. I have 3 sisters, 36 Michelle, 35 Julia and 22 Annie. I have been dating Peter for a few months now, but haven't told my family yet. Michelle got married last week. During the reception, lots of people were making toasts, including my father. He said something along the lines of, "I finally have my first son-in-law, and hopefully I will soon have 2 more. Maybe someday even a daughter-in-law if Sissypants here monts up and gets a GF." Everyone laughed except Julia. After the toasts and before dinner Julia came over to me and asked me if I was okay. I was sad and didn't hide it all that well. I said I'm fine. Dad's comment just bugged me. She said to try and let it go for now, and I did. During dinner, there were many tables and my immediate family was at one. My father starts asking me if I have a girlfriend already, if I will give him grandkids etc. I brushed it off. Then Michelle, who just came by the table to ask my mom something, said, "Well, I can hook you up with a bridesmaid if you want to unless you are wired the wrong way." Julia rolled her eyes. Then my mom said to her, "Maybe you should have that girl, bridesmaid. Come over here, he needs to be with a woman at his age." I just lost it and said, "Actually Mom, I'm gay." The whole table went silent. Some other people heard too and Michelle started crying, saying I ruined her wedding with my awful confession. Most of my family says I'm an asshole for saying it then. Julia is on my side and said she is perfectly fine with me being gay and if our family didn't want to hear it, they should have stayed quiet. Am I the asshole for ruining Michelle's wedding? Not the asshole. Oh dear God, you did not come out at her wedding. You were literally pushed into a corner until you snapped. Julia sounds like a great sister. Had you have planned to come out at the wedding, you would have been the but it sounds like you were being bugged and were finally at the end of your tether and it just came out. You're not the asshole, and if Michelle thinks her brother being gay ruined her wedding then that's on her. Not the asshole. When I first read the title of your post I was inclined to think you are the asshole. However, after reading how it all went down, you're 100% not the asshole. Your family was essentially assaulting you with homophobic remarks and questioned your sexuality several times. They questioned and you answered. You had no choice but to stand firm in yourself. Good for you. I would hope your sister would be happy about you finally telling your truth. Congrats on coming out and happy Pride. White flag rainbow man heart man rainbow. I came here loaded for bear. We've seen a number of posts about people who want to steal focus at someone else's wedding. But you were being actively bullied. That's different. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. The homophobic bride chose to join her homophobic family in harassing you. She fucked around and found out. She doesn't get to complain about her wedding being ruined when she won. Didn't stop your shitty family from being shitty, and 2, joined in on it. She and the rest of your family minus Julia can kick rocks. Not the asshole. Your parents were being pushy and rude. How is being gay an awful confession, anyway? Sounds homophobic of her. Am I the asshole for not letting my brother-in-law be referred to as an uncle to my kids? I, 32M, and my wife, 31F, just welcomed our baby girl into the world 3 weeks ago. Our families were so overjoyed for us. We couldn't have asked for a better family unit. Everything was going great until my sister called and said she could wait to come visit us. We live 5 hours away, so insert baby's name could meet her aunt and uncle. When she said that, my wife and I just looked at each other dumbfounded, because 4 years earlier when they had their first kid and my wife and I met them for the first time, she said, "We don't feel comfortable with our kids referring to your wife as an aunt because she isn't blood." At that point my wife and I had been married for 6 years. It made no sense to us, but we accepted it and moved on. We were always Uncle Jay and insert my wife's name. When they finally get up here the following weekend after all the kids had been put to bed, she referred to her and her husband as aunt and uncle. We talked to her about what seemed to be a double standard, saying, "We are really a fan of how my wife can't be an aunt but her husband can be uncle, and to avoid confusing the kids we would prefer if he were just referred to by his name as well." She started yelling saying, "It's different," and that woke the kids up. She got even more pissed at that, grabbed her 2 little ones and stormed out of the house, and got a hotel for the night. My mom and dad called me and told me I was being petty and to call and apologize. They're right. I was petty. But I won't stand a double standard and have my wife, my partner, my teammate be treated as if she's not a part of the family. We've been together over 10 years. So am I the asshole for not letting my brother-in-law be referred to as an uncle? Edit. My sister and wife get along well. My sister was kinda jealous of my mom's liking of my wife. My mom is a very hippie soul go with the flow kind, and so if my wife. My sister is very type A and always wished she could be more spontaneous and like my mom. Update 1. Sister, mom, and dad agreed to a Zoom call later tonight after we're all home from work. We all live in different time zones. Update 2. Mom called me on my lunch. She's retired. She asked me, now that dad's not around to influence her because my dad is old and grumpy and doesn't like drama, what exactly is going on? I told her the entire story and she was floored and apologized for assuming I was being an asshole and that she would help me talk to my sister later on the Zoom. Update 3. Zoom call. I would like to start out and say my parents had no idea about my wife not having the title aunt. They were pissed at sis for that. I won't go into full detail, but to summarize. My sis isn't referred to as aunt to my brother-in-law, niece and nephew. So she took it out on my wife. The reason she got mad at me for throwing her logic back at her is because she wished she would have said something to her sil and felt like if she started calling my wife aunt now it would confuse the kids. After a long Zoom of confessions and tears on her side, my wife is Auntie N now and my brother-in-law is Uncle A. All ended well. Thanks for the advice and support. Did she offer an explanation of why it is different? Seriously, I am normally a non-confrontational person and as soon as someone gets mad, I apologize even if it's not my fault. But this is different. I would stand my ground. So no, you're not not the asshole. It's not different at all. It's literally the same thing. Tell her you'll consider letting him be an uncle if she can explain why her husband can be an uncle and your wife can't. It sounds like your sis harbors some resentment for your wife for some reason. If the only thing she can come up with is, she isn't blood, then she can go. Insert something unpleasant here. Not the asshole. Huge not the asshole. Your family is crazy for agreeing with your sister too. Not the asshole. How is it different? Is her husband related by blood? You absolutely did the right thing by supporting your wife. Not the asshole. I gotta say, just from the title I was gonna go in the other direction, lol. But this is a classic case of someone not liking the hole they dug. Too forking bad. Maybe let your parents sit with this for a while and then ask them about this double standard. But be prepared for not liking the answer. Good luck. Am I the asshole for teaching a new student at my ballet class how to break in her pointe shoes? 18F, I'm a professional ballet dancer. I attend classes daily 6 days out of the week. A young student has recently joined our Saturday morning class. She's 13. I'll be honest, she is a sweet kid but clearly one of those kids that their parents threw a tutu and shoes at and expected a star. Still though, the girl seemed determined to make her parents happy, so me and the older members took her under our wings and tried to help her settle in and learn as much as she could. One issue I noticed very quickly was that she couldn't get over her box. Now this could be down to poorly fitted pointe shoes, in which case there was nothing I could do to help right now, but I asked to see her shoes before she put them on one morning and saw they weren't adjusted for her or broken in at all, which, ouch. No wonder she couldn't get over the box. So I helped her break them, in which I admit is a rather intense process for people not used to it. One of our walls has dents in it from all the breaking in. I then taught her the basics of customizing them and helped her get them as comfortable as possible for her. The class went well and she seemed far more comfortable. The following week her mother came with her to class and went straight to me demanding to know why I'd destroyed her daughter's shoes and didn't I know how expensive those were and how I'd better replace them as she couldn't wear them. I admit I was a little dumbfounded by this and just stared at her for a bit before getting annoyed and telling her that we all break in our shoes and it's the only way to do ballet properly, and yes, I know how expensive they are as I go through a pair of shoes each performance. I told her that she clearly knew nothing about ballet, as having unbroken in shoes was going to destroy her daughter's feet and make dancing near impossible, and if she was serious about it she had to understand it was an expensive investment. Our balletmaster then came over demanding to know what all the noise was about. This mother then said I had ruined her daughter's shoes and how she couldn't afford to buy a new set right now and they'd needed to last her daughter at least 6 months, which lol, good luck with that. They asked to see the shoes and laughed and tried to reassure her they weren't destroyed, just broken in, and showed the how and why this was done. She got embarrassed and upset at this before storming off saying our class was a joke and how we were trying to sabotage her daughter. I keep thinking about the kid's face and how mortified and upset she'd been. Our balletmaster insists I did nothing wrong and it was a lesson she should know at 13 if she's serious about dancing. I wonder if she'll come back on Saturday, but I doubt it based on her mother's reaction. Maybe I would have been better pulling her mother to the side after a class and explaining what her daughter needed rather than just helping. Not the asshole, but I feel really bad for that kid having to deal with Momzilla. Not the asshole, and while I understand getting defensive, I told her that she clearly knew nothing about ballet. This probably isn't the best way to educate someone who is new to the field and expected them to listen. Not the asshole. If mom really wanted her daughter to do ballet, she would have at least researched about it. I feel so bad for the kid, but there's nothing you can do about it. Listen to your balletmaster, they're right. You did nothing wrong and that mother was in awe. Not the asshole, why would you even think you were? Breaking in point shoes is important. Heck, just breaking in your regular everyday shoes is important for comfort. The mom's an asshole who didn't bother to take 10 seconds out of her day to Google how to take care of the shoes. Not the asshole. I am absolutely not a dancer, like barely can do a line dance. And even I know that point shoes are broken in before using them. There are so many videos of dancers breaking in their shoes and customizing, it is so interesting. If they were that invested in their daughter becoming a ballet star, they might want to watch some documentaries or YouTube videos of ballet dancers training. Not the asshole. I'm not a dancer, but in every field there are people who need to teach you things. Ideally, this maybe should have come from a teacher or from the person who sold them the shoes as well as you, but since they didn't and this young woman was potentially harming herself, you did the right thing. Am I the asshole for not taking on my coworker's shift? So I work retail. This morning I got a text while I was asleep. I didn't hear my phone go off. So it was a good 2 hours before I even saw the text. My manager said they needed me to come in because Brenda, my coworker, couldn't come in. Her shift started at 2 p.m. The text was sent at 10 a.m., it was now noon. I had plans for later that night, so I texted him I couldn't come in. He told me, well, if you don't come in, Brenda will have to come in. I told him, I guess she'll have to come in. He then replied, okay. Well, I guess she's just going to have to miss her son's first birthday then. I told him, I'm sorry but I have plans. He then went off on me about how I was horrible and heartless. I just responded, why didn't she request the day off in advance? Did she forget when her child was born? The manager said that they would talk to me the next time I came in. Am I the asshole? Edit to update. So Brenda got my number somehow, texted me about how awful I was, how I could never understand because I'm a childless man-child. And I told her, look, you could have just requested it off. She said, I'm a busy mother, you expect me to remember everything? I then saw there was really no point in having this argument. I blocked her number. She then texted me on I guess her husband's number, about how, it's people like you that ruin childhoods. I also blocked that number. I've applied to several other places and am jumping ship the second I get another job. Not the asshole. For the love of all that is holy, do not let your managers guilt you into coming into work when you're not scheduled. A corporation will continue to take advantage of you if you let them. You're not in the wrong here at all. Don't listen to the team player bullshit you'll hear next time either. Your off-work time is just as valuable as your at-work time, and everyone deserves to have both. Sorry for the mini-rant. This is something I've gone through before and feel quite strongly about. Not the asshole, why couldn't the manager cover her shift? On my days off I don't look at my phone much, so they'd be out of luck asking me a question like that. If she needed time off, she needed to request it beforehand. If she did do this and was told no, then that's on the manager. Not the asshole, this is why you don't reply to texts on your off days. Not the asshole, laughed P. hard at did she forget when her child was born? Brenda is the asshole for not booking off her son's birthday, she should know when it is. Manager is the asshole because he makes the schedule and shouldn't guilt you because he can't accommodate somebody. There are very few circumstances where you would be the asshole for not picking up a last-minute shift from your coworker. This isn't one of them. Not the asshole. No, you are not the asshole. At all. Your boss is.